Good morning. So, right off gate, every morning that I wake up sober is a fresh mercy for me, okay? And that alone is a great reason and motivation for me to start my day off right. Thanking God, the one who's given me this new day sober, and the only reason that I have this day sober, and dedicating the day right now at the very beginning to Him and praying, asking for His assistance and guidance and wisdom and direction throughout the day, and asking Him to just be with me and help me in any challenges that I may face, and asking Him to help me stay sober too is a huge deal, right? So, I wanted to talk about worship, right? And I'm not talking about Brandon Lake, woo, hands up in the air, lifted high. That's great because God does inhabit the praises of His people. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but the true act of spiritual worship is not going to a Christian rock concert, okay, and waving your hands in the air like you just don't care. Your true spiritual act of worship is how you live your life day by day, and from the biggest things to the smallest things, right? From telling a lie, or being honest, having integrity, right? These things that build and our character and make us who we are. So I know you've heard the one day at a time, right? Like Matthew, I think it is 6:34 says, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for today is sufficient for its own trouble." A lot of people know that term in recovery, one day at a time. They don't know that it came from Jesus first. He set that principle a long time ago, and lots of people have adopted it. But anyway, one day at a time, one decision at a time, right? So I ask God in every decision that I have to make, whether it be a big decision or a small decision, if I can train my mind to hesitate and take a pause before I act, right, on my impulses. And I've always been such an impulsive person, so this is the biggest part for me. It's huge, being able to train myself to act on those impulses, but to stop and ask myself, what would Jesus do? I know it sounds silly. You used to see the little bracelets, 20 years ago when I was in middle school. They had the little WWJD bracelets, but it's so simple yet so profound, because in doing this, we can change it all. We can change our lives in that simple, small step of training our brain to ask ourselves before any decision, any impulse, anytime we open our mouth, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus say, in this situation? We can literally change our lives with that simple but profound thing. What would Jesus do? So our spiritual act of worship is how we live our lives. And it's not how we live our lives out in public, down at the Piggly Wiggly where everybody's looking. You help the little old lady with her groceries because there's 2 hot girls around, or 20 people looking at you. It's the things that you do when no one else is looking. You know what I'm saying? The things that you want to do because it comes from the desire of your heart, because your heart position is correct, right? It is aligned with Christ's heart, and you don't care who sees. It's not about who sees, right? It's about pleasing the only one that matters, the one that sees all, and that's God, Jesus Christ. When you come to a point to where your decisions and your actions are based on wanting to please your Creator, then you are in a good place, in my opinion. A great place. Probably the best place you could be. So our spiritual act of worship is how we live our lives. It's our integrity. It's our character. It's what we choose to do when no one's looking, right? It's how we live in our life in the dark, because a man is as he thinketh in his heart. So therefore it starts in our mind and heart. It doesn't even start at the actual decision process. It starts with the thought. It's the thought patterns, changing our thought patterns, right? So if we see that hot girl walking down the street, instead of looking at her and starting to let our mind wander, we take that thought captive, right? We take that thought captive and we make it obedient to Christ, right? And in doing that, we stop ourselves from conceiving a sin, because that's what thoughts are. It starts with a thought, and then that thought conceives into sin when it's been nurtured, right? So if we sit there, just like with a drug, we think about going to get high, and we don't take that thought captive and make it obedient to Christ, and we nurture it, eventually it's going to conceive itself into the sin of going to get high. So what you thinketh in your heart and what you do in the dark when no one is looking are probably the two most important steps, small but profound steps. What would Jesus do? That you can train yourself to take in every breath you take, every moment of the day, every second of the day. Start small. You don't just deny yourself and pick up your cross daily. You deny yourself and pick up your cross every second of the day, every minute, every hour. It is a continual, repetitive process that you do over and over and over all day long, presenting yourselves as a living sacrifice, your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. And man, what profound changes will come in your life. And that's about all of that today. Thank you. Love you guys.